So, Vergil Ortiz will be returning to the ring against Erickson Lubin for the WBC Interim World Super Welterweight title on November 25th. Now, Vergil Ortiz, of course, is the undefeated, basically number one guy at 154 at the moment. There's conversations around who is the best at 154. I think it probably is Vergil Ortiz, but Fundora's up there as well. And Vergil Ortiz will be fighting Erickson Lubin, a guy who has lost to Fundora. Lubin's lost twice in his career before. He lost to Jamel Charlo and he lost to Sebastian Fundora. So safe to say, and those were his only two real jump up to world level in his career. Everyone else he's fought has been, far below world level, right? So those were his two times going to world level and he lost both times. Now, the fight against Fundora was an interesting fight. It was a competitive fight at times. Fundora, in my opinion, did deserve to win that fight. He was putting his punches together consistently over the course of the 12 rounds. No, it wasn't even 12 rounds. It was a 9th round stoppage, actually, I believe. It was a corner stoppage because of a lot of swelling around the eye of Lubin, in my opinion. I think he probably couldn't see out of the eye because, again, Fundora just put hands on him, just moved to him. Fundora dropped him early in the fight. That being said, Lubin was able to sort of take those shots and then went on to drop Fundora, I believe around the 6th or 7th round. But ultimately, Fundora did just have too much for him and just like I said, just put his hands together, put combinations onto Lubin and was doing a lot of damage, even though he only dropped him the one time. Throughout the fight was landing cleanly. Now, Lubin, it was a performance where Lubin, like I said, did drop Fundora and did land his own shots clean, but ultimately, Vergil Ortiz will not be as hittable as Sebastian Fundora. Now, Vergil Ortiz, in my opinion, isn't a defensive whiz the same way a Terence Crawford is, the same way Jaron Ennis is, where you'll struggle to really land clean on him. You can land on Vergil Ortiz, and we have seen guys like Madrimov be able to find Ortiz, at least early on in their fight. That being said, like I said, Vergil Ortiz is the far bigger puncher, and he's the undefeated guy. He's younger. He's got the momentum as well, in my opinion. I think Lubin, where he's lost before at world level, Vergil Ortiz should go into this fight with a lot of confidence, particularly also knowing the fact that Lubin rejected the opportunity to fight Murtaza Aliyev, showing that potentially, in my opinion, Lubin's taking this fight for commercial reasons, because I don't think Lubin has a chance against either guy, if I'm being honest. I don't think Lubin has a chance against Ortiz or against Murtaza Aliyev, but ultimately, the Ortiz fight would be more commercially viable for him, right? He's probably looking at it thinking, well, I'm probably lose to both guys, so I may as well go with who gives me the most money, right? Which is a school of thought that I understand, but I don't know, it kind of sits weird with me, if you're a guy who's been given the chance to fight for a mandatory title first, he was given Murtaza Aliyev first, and then you reject that to get something else for more money. I'm sort of like, world title shot is a world title shot, but I guess it depends how you view boxing. If you view it as a sport, if you view it as a business, ultimately the WBC world title probably does have more prestige than the IBF title, to be fair. But that being said, yeah, Vergil Ortiz is going to be taking on, what's his name? Lubin. And it'll be a 12 round in November. Honestly, I don't think Lubin is giving Vergil Ortiz any major problems. Lubin can pack a punch and, it's maybe if when he's desperate, like when he was against Fundora, he was, really unloading on him at times. When he dropped Fundora, he was unloading on him and really went for it. If you do that to Vergil Ortiz, and if Vergil Ortiz is still there after, then you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble, because Vergil Ortiz, again, is one of the biggest punchers at 154 and has got a ton of knockouts under his name. Of course, he's not knocked out a ton of world level operators yet, because he's not fought a ton of world level operators yet, but he's going to be looking to take that next step, and he did that against Madrimov. He beat Madrimov, didn't knock him out, but he's going to be facing someone else who's mixed it at world levels in Lubin, who, like I said, has mixed it at world level, but each time he's lost. So, like I said, Ortiz should come into this with confidence, but Lubin needs to come into this with a point to prove as well. But yeah, I would be super curious to know what you guys think of this fight. Do you think this is a easy fight for Vergil Ortiz, or do you think Erickson Lubin could claim the WBC interim world title? Be curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. And another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.